Greetings. I'm so delighted to be with you and to be able to welcome you to the Young Minds 2020 Certificate Award Ceremony. I'm sure you'll agree that this year has been particularly tough because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The logistics and the arrangements around everybody's work life, including yours, has been made that much more complex. So we are delighted, both for you and with you, that you've been able to reach this milestone, having done all the hard work and shown the diligence and determination that you've shown. You've now reached this very well-deserved milestone. I'm also incredibly pleased that our faculty and our LPFs and my own staff at USB Ed have been as agile and flexible as they have been and have been able to work with you in the way that they have. So my great gratitude to them. So now is an opportunity for you to celebrate and an opportunity for you to enjoy the fruits of all of your hard work. So enjoy the ceremony with us.
I think my inspiration for the program comes from the way I was brought up. I grew up in a family where there were many teachers. I studied to become a teacher myself. Later on I also lectured at university, working with young students all the time. And then later on, through my church, I got involved with young adults in so-called 20 cells. And actually there I realized that young people, they have two serious needs nowadays. The first one is to actually define themselves, who they really are. There are so much pressure on young people and they don't always have time to define for themselves who they are and what they want to do. And once they've done that, then they still don't know how to implement it. And this made me start thinking about what can I do? And I start dreaming about a program for young adults. So, well, let's find a proper program that can teach them these things. We had a very small start in 2011, only 27 students at that time. But over the time the program started growing and growing, and until now we have to cap it at around about 120 students to still keep that personal touch. In my own life, I realized at a certain stage that my inner satisfaction comes from helping other people to unleash their potential and their dreams. I believe most people actually becomes happy when they mean something to other people. So when you can really unleash your inner potential, you will start using it to help others. Because you don't have to be jealous of other people, you don't have to be afraid of other people, you can just be yourself. And life is very interesting, it will create opportunities all the time. If you focus on your strengths, there will always be opportunities for you to apply those strengths to the benefit of others. So I really wish that young people will discover this as soon as possible in their lives.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. When we started the program this year, we were about to embark on a collective journey which none of us were prepared for or could have even imagined. This is a year where I have been amazed and impressed beyond measure by the resilience, determination and dedication of our Young Minds students. Brené Brown said, sometimes the bravest and most important thing you can do is show up. And show up, you did. You're stronger than you were in February. You have a sense of purpose now and know who you want to become. Your gratitude and positivity humbled me, and I will always remember this extraordinary group of students. You have been an inspiration. Take pride in how far you've come. Surround yourself with people who want to fill your cup, and always let excellence be your brand. Congratulations on what you've achieved. I wish you success, and may you all lead lives of significance.
Well, thanks for having me. I hope that this story is going to inspire you a little bit. It's a bit crazy and it's a bit mad, but it really is a hopeful situation through an incredibly tough time. And I hope you can take a lot of benefit and learnings out of it to achieve great things going forward. First and foremost, my name is John O'Mankeys. I am the founder of Jeff. Jeff was John O's e-fitness faculty, now it's just Jeff, and what it stands for is a lifestyle and community-based business which services over 70,000 people in 110 countries around the world, and believe it or not, was born through COVID. We had a small little business beforehand of about 12 people servicing in the remote space, so we were very well placed. Subsequently, over the last 6 months, I've grown it to almost 80 people in the business and over 7,000 members worldwide, which is super interesting and quite inspiring in a tough time. So I am a international sports conditioning specialist. I studied at Stellenbosch University. I didn't do biokinetics. I just did a sports science degree specializing in sports conditioning. Straight out of university, I got picked up by a fighter by the name of Mike Bernardo, who was a man mountain, an incredible human being, huge man in South Africa, but was fighting overseas in Japan and in Europe and across the States. And people never knew who he was in South Africa. And he took a risk on me, and I moved to Croatia with him for 2 years. And we used to fight between Croatia and Japan, and it sort of qualified me by experience quite early in my life. I wasn't ready for the opportunity, but I was given it, and I was forced to dive in and research and learn about this incredible world of sports conditioning. Just to give you some scope, we used to do fights in front of 50,000 people in Japan. That's the size of Newlands Rugby Stadium. And I was a youngster, and I had to swim quite quickly in my life. But it set me up for an incredible journey and where that's gone from there. From there, I moved to the UK, did internships at some of the Premiership rugby clubs, and also decided to dive into the world of finance to learn about business, which I didn't study. I was given an opportunity through, funny enough, playing in a rugby tournament to become a headhunter, and we grew a small little business, and we headhunted qualified accountants from Asia into the UK. We used to do these trips to Singapore, the Philippines, Kuala Lumpur, and do these big swoops of 40, 50 qualified accountants at a time into the UK. Obviously, that was at a time when, just before the first credit crunch, when Lehman Brothers collapsed, and then came back to South Africa, started a gym. I had a vision where, we saw. I went into the business with a friend of mine, and we saw an opportunity in all these residential developments that have existing gym spaces, and we thought, well, how do we make these things profitable for the levy payer? And we devised a model, and we did one in Claremont, and we grew that to about 600 members quite quickly, in group and one-on-one training in the traditional personal training mold. At that time, was approached by Cricket South Africa to help them with a couple of tricky situations on rehabilitation, which were people like all your famous cricketers at that time was Graham Smith, Jacques Callis, Mark Boucher, all them. Did 1 or 2 tours with them too. Then was approached by Investec to get involved with the SA women's hockey team when they were putting big funding into them for the Commonwealth Games and Olympics. Subsequently made that very successful, and from a conditioning point of view, and took that team to from ranking of 14 to a ranking of 5 in the world in a year and a half. Spent a year traveling between Cape Town and Europe, 10 days in Europe, 5 days in Cape Town for a year basically, getting that system right. Then was headhunted, and in that space grew another gym as well in town, so we had 2 gyms at that time. I've always been motivated on growth and expansion and sort of just focusing on the basics and getting the basics right. And then was headhunted by Rassie Erasmus to come and join SA Rugby, and I joined SA Rugby for 6 wonderful years, working on the Sevens project to begin with, on the women's side and on the men's side, in the lead up to the Rio Olympics, and then subsequently worked through all the teams, under 20s, the SA schools, the referees, the Springboks, and got some incredible experience there. During that time, met my wife, had 2 kids, best time of my life, and the travel was just too much. I was spending 7 months of the year away from my family. I had 2 very young kids. Well, I had 1 child and another one on the way, and it was time to make heavy decisions. It was fantastic to be on the side of the field and go to the Olympics and do that, but my priorities were very different with my family and missing out on my family time. So I took the big decision about 3 years ago to leave SA Rugby after the Commonwealth Games. I handed in my resignation, and I decided to, in that sort of transition period, I designed a 14-week transformation plan. And 6 months before leaving SA Rugby, I sort of started leaking it out, and 1 person led to 2 people, to 3 people, to 4 people. Next thing, I had 150 people I was controlling remotely in this remote space. You know, I'd fly to Joburg every now and then and see people, or Cape Town, and it was just crazy. And I was like, wow, you know, there's a little business here. So I took a risk, and I started this platform, and it just kept on growing and growing and growing. The sign of this, and like you'll see where the story goes with this thing, is if you put good energy and hard work behind the scenes to something, it sort of just creates momentum on its own. And I was just focusing on the basics of just changing people's lives and just like using my skill, which is really good with people. I wasn't the top academic. I scraped through university, scraped through school, 50%. I didn't even know how I got 50% sometimes. But my strength was my ability to get a message across in the way I speak and connect with people. And I started changing people's lives. People started talking about me. They started referring their friends when they felt good, and it was just like a really good little business. Then 2 years ago, well, almost 2 years, about a year and 9 months ago, I transformed an amazing human being's life. Her name was Kerry, and she had twins, and just absolutely, she just blossomed on the program. I solved all her problems for her, and it was just incredible to see of how we could pull certain dynamics together with training and nutrition and a mindset, and just focus on the basics, but just transform someone. And her husband approached me and just said, "Jono, what you've done is amazing. No one's been able to do that for my wife before. Like, what is the secret sauce?" And we just started talking about it, and then funny enough, he was probably is the top entrepreneur in South Africa. There's a guy by the name of Sam Paddock, and he started a business called Get Smarter, which is in the online education space. And he sold it for over $100 million. Young guy from Cape Town, innovative, and he said, "Jono, we've got to take you and pull you apart, and we're going to build teams around your marketing, your sales, your training, all these aspects, and we're going to try and scale this business out." And we started a year ago. We built a team of about 17, 18 people, selling 7 and 14-week transformations, and it was incredibly successful. We had an office, we were growing, and in February of this year, we had an incredible month. But there was something happening in the world, and we sort of got ahead of it. COVID was hitting all corners of the earth. It had already hit Cape Town by January because of obviously the Europeans coming into Cape Town, and it was snowballing here already. So Cape Town, that's why Cape Town had to go into lockdown. So we predicted it, and we got quite a shock, and we didn't know really what we were going to do, because people were scared. We had to, unfortunately, go through a bit of a retrenchment process of 7 people. We got rid of the office overnight, and we threw our energy to the wind. What are we going to do in this time period to help people? And the one thing that we figured out quite early was people in the lockdown situation wanted to be connected. If it's your family, your friends, whatever, you're all going to be stuck in your house, but how are we going to be connected? And we came up with the idea, and I said, put myself and my wife on TV, and let's do a workout together. Let people come and work out with us on Facebook and comment and see how it goes. And we just decided to do it. And we put on the first show. Myself and my wife did it. I roped her in, shame bless her soul. She took one for the team. And the first show, we put 2 lights up. We put a green screen in the background. Our 4-year-old and our 18-month-old at that situation just walked through and knocked over all the lights, all the screens. It was chaos. But what happened was people could resonate with that. And they went, you know what? It's okay. It's okay to have kids running around. It's okay to have a situation whereby you can still work out and make a plan, but they could connect with their friends. So we had a situation where we had moms and dads doing a workout with their kids, connecting and commenting on Facebook, and just forming this ecosystem. It went from basically 80 live views in the first show to literally 2,000 views a week later. And that was insane. And we were like, wow, what is going on here? The top concerts and the musicians couldn't get it right. It was just absolutely incredible. So we grew, we kept on growing on week 1 to 2, and then all of a sudden it was just exploding, and it became the biggest workout trend across South Africa. Vitality got in touch with us because they had no situation with the gyms being closed, and they said, can we do something with you guys, and let's do the biggest workout. We called it SA's biggest workout on the 18th of April, I'll never forget. We built up over 3 weeks. We used their database. We didn't want any money with them. We just said, please, can you just send an email out to your database? And they did, and then we took market capture of that capture there, and we grew by a couple of 1,000 people. And on the 18th of April, we hosted SA's biggest workout, where we had 32,000 people live with us. It was incredible. And it was just something like we've never seen before. And the most important part of the whole thing is people were connected through fitness and health and harmony of community. And the community really started to rally around. So basically what we did is we formed a community lifestyle-based business over lockdown. Subsequently from that, we've grown our team from 12 then up to 80 people. We'll have 100 people by the end of the month. We've got big corporates on board, such as Nedbank, such as Supersport, looking after their self. We've got instructors in Holland, in the UK. We've just launched across the UK, and we're going into the States. Our community is over 70,000 people, 8,000 members, or 7,500, 8,000 members now. It's an incredible story, but basically what it is it's hope. It's having an idea, having the risk, having the drive, having the intensity to go out there and make it happen. Anyone can do it, but you've got to take that risk, have charisma, be dynamic enough to, I always say it's like a lion, like a lion going for its hunt. It's like you've got to see taste the blood and go for it and give it everything you've got. If this little story can inspire you, we've done our job, because it's all about our clients. It's all about people's results changing their lives. And if we change their lives, the world changes, the economy grows, families get better dads, better moms, better sisters, better, colleagues, the works. So I hope that's an inspiring story for you. Go and look at Jeff.fitness, follow us on Facebook, and just see what can be created in the worst time. For us, it's been the best time. So I hope that's inspiring for you, and good luck with everything. And please be in touch, and we're here to help you in the future.
all that remains is once again for me to say a very big thank you to faculty and the LPFs and to my own staff at USB Ed. You've done a wonderful job this year in very trying circumstances. And then also to congratulate you, the delegates, for your hard work and for this marvelous achievement. We look forward to inviting you back to join us at USB Ed and at Stellenbosch University for the continuation of your learning journey sometime into the future. So we look out for that contact happening again. Congratulations, enjoy your achievement.